Check the stream, make sure we're good to go. I know I did not schedule this one because I suck. Stream, make sure audio is fine. Awesome, lovely. You'll love to see it. Because I suck. Yeah. Okay. Let's go, boys. I meant to schedule this like 2 days ago, but I forgot. I'm so sorry. Like I'm pretty sure I think I thought I did too, and then I checked. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not scheduled. Whoops. That's womp womp tier. That's womp womp tier. It's also like 10 in the morning, so I know it's a bit early for a stream, but I don't have footage to edit right now, so kind of figure we had to get something out of the way. And also, commander brackets are a thing now, so we're gonna watch Gavin Verhey, the man himself, the godfather of not godfather, but like the progenitor. Not also that's also not correct. Inheritor, the inheritor of Commander now. So we're gonna see our boy Gavin see what these Commander brackets are all about. I kind of already know what they are. Like I already am aware of what the whole thing is. I'm kind of already aware of what the whole thing is, but figure it'd be cool to go over it with y'all. So, and my nose is already itchy, of course. I'll give it a moment for people to hop in here. Even though, to be honest, I expect no one to pop in because it's 10 a.m. on a Monday. That's an issue. Whoops. So, my bad. I will try to do better in the future about timing the streams so that people are actually here. I thought I scheduled it for yesterday. Or no. Yes? No. I don't know anymore. I'm lost. Have some black cherry with me today, chat. Sparkling Ice, please sponsor me. I drink all you guys' drinks like all the time because it's like a way healthier alternative soda while also having the same like carbonation feel that I need for the stim in my brain. So be nice if y'all reached out. Sparkling Ice, please sponsor me. It'd be really cool. I know you guys like don't sponsor any streamers at all or content creators at all for that matter, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did. It'd be a lot cooler if you did. All right, I'll give it like 1 more minute, even though I'm pretty sure like no one's gonna hop in because it's like 10 a.m. on a Monday. I suck. I know. Commander brackets, they're a thing now, and I do think it is a. Well, we'll go over it in the video with Gavin here, but I do think for the most part it is a. From what we've seen, what do you mean? YouTube, why are you tweaking? Your bitrate is 0. I know you're lying, bro. OBS says 8,000. Oh, your bitrate. Oh. I know you're lying to me, bro. I know you are. All right. Our boy Gavin. Can I crop my camera a bit so it's not so much? Yeah. There we go. All right, Gavin. Tell me about these goddamn commander brackets.
Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast and also of the Commander Format panel. And today I and the panel are very excited to introduce to you the beta test of our new Commander matchmaking system, Commander Brackets. In our last article in October, we talked about a system kind of like this, but since then have iterated on it a lot, and the whole group has done really fantastic work, and we're excited to tell you about it today.
So, I mean, if I remember correctly, the initial commander bracket like formula was a rough draft to start with, so it obviously was not perfect. I believe the issue was that it was very unclear what qualified certain cards to be in certain numbers. Like originally it was 1 through 4, if I recall correctly, and it was like tier 4 was Vampiric Tutor, but also Armageddon. And while many people would agree Vampiric Tutor is like a top tier competitive card, no one plays Armageddon in competitive. So like the original draft concept was very weird because the basis of cards being in like the higher tiers of like power was very inconsistent. We'll see if this new system fixes that.
We're going to share with you the system and also the roadmap of what you can expect in the future. Now, before we get into commander brackets and all of how they work, there are 3 things I want to mention at the very top of this video. The first thing is that I expect for many of you out there, the system will change nothing about how you interact with Commander. If you're having great games at home with your playgroup, that's fantastic. I love that. That is wonderful. You don't need a robust matchmaking system. And if that's working for you, that's great. However,
True.
as Commander has grown and you're more likely to go to a game store with a bunch of folks you've never played with, or go to a convention or something like a Magic Con, we wanted to create more of a common language to help you find those well-paired games.
I will say, like, that's a good point that he makes here. Like, you should, like, first of all, I think you as a playgroup should be very willing to create your own ban lists, create, like, your own, like, restricted cards, try and, like, you should be communicating with your group if there is something that you personally don't like about Commander. Like, I know, the Goldfish crew, they banned fast mana in all their games, so that's, like, Soul Ring, Ancient Tomb, all of, like, the really good, like, mana, like, high-end staples in Commander. And they've all agreed that that has pretty much only made their games better. So I do think you as a playgroup should be having more conversations about how your games go in general. So if you're already doing that and you already have a pre-established, like, maybe you have your own ban list, maybe you have your own stipulation about deck building. If you already have those things, that's great. Stick to them, and you probably honestly don't even need to pay attention to the Commander bracket. So I'm not sure to end that thought. Good. God.
I'm sure many of you have had that experience of sitting down at a Commander table and after a few turns quickly realizing that your decks are not well matched against one another.
On Skibbity, Gavin.
The power level 1 through 10 system that has been used in the past.
It's bad.
Sort of like that in direction. One thing Commander has really lacked is a good way to discuss what kind of game you want to play, and this is meant to help with that. And of course, Rule 0 is still active. If you sit down and say, hey, I'm a bracket 2 deck with this one difference, is that okay with you all? That's totally fine. Number 2, this system cannot stop bad actors. If someone is lying to you and wants to sit down and play against you with a deck that is mismatched, we can't stop that ultimately. This is really meant to help people who want to earnestly fight good games against one another, find each other and make that happen. And finally, thing number 3, we really want to stress this is a beta test.
So let's go over his last point here. I think it's a good point to make. Like, no matter what system they come up with, there will always be people who try to, like, game it and just push the boundaries of what they can do while also still adhering to the limits. Like, with the new system in place, I'm pretty sure, like, some commanders just will be stronger than others, even if each commander everyone's playing still is within the same bracket of, like, bracket 2 or 3 or whatever. So there's that one dude to your LGS who keeps spiking and just trying to be spiky in general, but also trying to be like, haha, no, guys, look, my deck's a 3, it's fine. Just, you should still try to just not play with that person.
While we're really excited about all of this, we're also pretty sure it's not 100% perfect, and that's where you and your feedback come in. Let us know on social media, on the official Magic Discord, in the comments down below what you think. We would love to take all that back and go refine this to make it the best it can possibly be. And to that end, if you're at MagicCon Chicago, we're going to take a part of the command zone and make it focused on trying this out. So feel free to stop by and give it a try. Of course, you can play this anywhere, not just in that specific part of the command zone. You can try it out at home right now. And also in the command zone at MagicCon Chicago, there'll be plenty of normal tables for you to go check out. But it is something we're actively looking for feedback on, and we'll have folks both from Wizards and the format panel in that area watching it and checking it. Now, with those three things said, let's get into Commander Brackets.
What you got, Gavin? What you got?
So here's how the Commander Bracket system works. There are 5 Commander Brackets, and each one is meant to classify a different kind of game experience.
So it's 5 now,
Brackets
not 4.
1, 2, and 3 are different levels of socially focused play, and bracket 4 and 5 are focused on a higher power or even competitive experience. In each bracket description, you'll also find guidance around 4 kinds of effects that can really impact games: 2-card infinite combos, extra turns, mass land denial, and tutors for things other than lands, noting where and how you should expect to see them. For a
Shit, sorry. So, I think all these make sense. Extra turns lead to pretty interactive game states. 2-card combos, I would say, are most of the time not really desired in lower powered games. Mass land denial, I think it's subjective because not every mass land denial card is built the same. Like Armageddon, I don't think is comparable to like Wildfire or like Ruination even, because that hates out non-basics exclusively. And then Tutor is like fine. I kind of wish he specified for other than basic lands, because I don't think crop rotation is on the same pillar as rampant growth. I think most people would agree with that, but it's fine.
Expect to see them. For a little bit of additional definition around mass land denial, this is a category of card that a majority of Commander players find frustrating.
Yeah.
So to emphasize it up front, you should not expect to see these cards anywhere in brackets 1 through 3. These cards regularly destroy, exile, and bounce other lands, keep lands tapped, or change what mana is produced by 4 or more lands per player without otherwise replacing those lands. Examples in this category are Armageddon, Ruination, Sunder, Winter Orb, and Blood Moon. Basically, any cards and common game plans that mess with several people's lands or the mana they produce should not be in your deck if you're seeking to play in brackets 1 through 3.
So, I actually really disagree with keeping Blood Moon in the same category as Armageddon. Like, I actually really don't like that as a concept, because, like, I think Blood Moon and... Yes, Ravagers of War here, but I think Blood Moon and Armageddon are fundamentally very different cards, and they both serve very different purposes in decks. Like, I think non-basic hate should be allowed. If they want to print more, like, lower to the ground non-basic land hate, maybe that's fine. But for the most part, I really don't think Blood Moon should be on the same category as, like, Ravagers of War. Or, I don't think specifically non-basic land hate should be in the same category as, like, Armageddon and Winter Orb and Sunder and all of them. I do disagree heavily with that.
Should not be in your deck if you're seeking to play in brackets 1 through 3. Additionally, you'll also see some references to the Game Changers list. This is a new small list of cards we'll share at the end that these brackets refer to and are cards targeted at higher bracket play. First, let us show you the brackets. Bracket number 1, Exhibition. The experience here is to throw down with your ultra casual commander deck.
Crab Tribal, or Kindred, rather.
Showing off something unusual you've made. Villains yelling in the art, everything has the number 4, oops all horses. Those are all fair game. The games here are likely to go long and end slowly. Just
4 hours.
Fun and enjoying what the table has brought. And
Monopoly.
The rules for here are no cards from the Game Changers list, no intentional 2-card infinite combos, mass land denial, or extra turn cards. And tutors should generally be sparse. Bracket number 2. Bracket number 2 is called Core, and the easiest reference point is that the average current pre-constructed deck is at a Bracket 2 level. While Bracket 2 decks may not have every perfect card, they have the potential for big splashy turns, strong engines, and are built in a way that works toward winning the game. While the game is unlikely to end out of nowhere and generally goes 9 or more turns, you can expect big swings. The deck usually has some cards that aren't perfect from a gameplay perspective, but are there for flavor reasons, or just because they bring a smile to your face. And then for Bracket 2 deck building, no cards from the Game Changers list, no intentional 2-card infinite combos or mass land denial, and extra turn cards should only appear in low quantities and are not intended to be chained in succession or looped. Tutors should be sparse. Bracket number 3 is called Upgraded, and these decks are souped up and ready to play beyond the strength of an average pre-constructed deck. They are full of carefully selected cards, with work having gone into figuring out the best card for each slot. The games tend to be a little faster as well, ending a turn or two sooner than your Bracket 2 decks. This also is where players can begin playing up to 3 cards from the Game Changers list, amping up the decks further. Of course, it doesn't have to have any Game Changers to be a Bracket 3 deck.
I kind of wish Gavin actually went over the Game Changers list first, because like we don't understand what having cards from the Game Changers list means in this overview. Like, I have no way to gauge the weight of Game Changers before he goes into this, but
Many decks are more powerful
we'll get to it
than a
soon.
constructed deck, even without them. These decks should generally not have any 2-card infinite combos that can happen cheaply and in about the first 6 or so turns of the game. But it's possible the long game could end with one being deployed, even out of nowhere. So for deck building here, you get up to 3 cards from the Game Changers list. And once again, I'll get into what that is in a little bit, but you get up to 3 cards here. It's where they start showing up. You have no intentional early game 2-card infinite combos. Extra turn cards should only appear in low quantities and are not intended to be chained in succession or looped, and no mass land denial. Now let's go on to Bracket 4, which we're calling Optimized. And
Okay.
here, it's time to go wild. Bring out your strongest decks and cards. You can expect to see explosive starts, strong tutors, cheap combos that end games, mass land destruction, or even in a deck full of cards off the Game Changers list. This is high-powered Commander, and games have the potential to end quickly. The focus here is on bringing the best version of the deck you want to play, but not one built around a tournament metagame. It's about shuffling up your strong and fully optimized deck, whatever it may be, and seeing how it fares. For most Commander players, these are the highest power Commander decks you will interact with. And there are no deck
Because
building restrictions
CDH,
here,
right.
other than, of course, the ban list. And finally, Bracket number 5. Simply CEDH. This is high power Commander with a very competitive and metagame focused mindset. And mindset is a key part of that description. Much of it is in how you approach the format and deck building. It's not just no holds barred, where you play your most powerful cards like in Bracket 4. It requires careful planning. There is care paid into following and paying attention to a metagame and tournament structure, and no sacrifices are made in deck building as you try to be the one to win the pod. Additionally, there is special care and attention paid to behavior and tableside negotiation, such as not making spite plays or concessions.
No spite plays. Aw, trash. Nah.
CEDH
Nah.
is where winning
Throw the whole bracket away,
and
bro. Nah, I don't want
self-expression.
this.
You might not be playing your favorite cards or commanders,
Nah.
as pet cards are usually replaced with cards needed in the metagame, but you're playing what you think will be most likely to win. And once again, for deck building here, there are definitely no restrictions other than the ban list, of course. So those are the 5 brackets, but I've mentioned the Game Changers list a number of times. So what is the Game Changers list?
Okay. This actually what I care about a lot. Like, if I'm being honest, I actually think the Game Changers list actually matters way more than any of the brackets. The list of Game Changers is what I actually care about,
You
to be
saw
honest.
several mentions of this list above, and this is something new that we want to introduce. We think it will be a huge help for matchmaking and understanding the format. Game Changers are cards that dramatically warp Commander games, allowing players to run away with resources, shift games in ways that many players dislike, block people from play, efficiently search for their strongest cards, or have commanders that tend to take away from more casual games. And unlike some previous systems that were discussed, it's only a single additional list to track. In addition
Nice.
to that function, you can imagine this as a sort of watch list. Any future bans are likely to come from this list, save for maybe something that shows up in a new set and immediately causes problems, like Nadu. Similarly, unbanned
Course.
cards are
Nadu.
likely to end up here. This creates a nice half step between the ban list and showing up everywhere. It also really helps ensure that you know what cards we have our eyes on, so cards won't feel like they're being banned out of nowhere in the
Nice.
future. It also gives us a tool to unban cards to try them, or nudge around cards without a ban needed. If a card shows up and is frustrating at casual tables but fine by competitive players, we can add it to the Game Changers list in an update to get it to the right place. And similarly, if times or opinions change and a card on this list looks fine in casual play now, we can take it off the Game Changers list. It's not unlike how Canadian Highlander adjusts point values every now and then.
Canadian
Now,
Highlander.
to be clear,
It's a good comparison,
most of
actually,
these
to this.
cards are unlikely to be banned. You shouldn't go trading away your Gaia's Cradles in concern. However, it is a clear signal for players to know that these cards indicate a different kind of play and that others might prefer to not play against them.
Yes,
We all
Gavin,
discussed
I understand.
a lot what we felt should be on this list to make it useful but manageable, and ended up at exactly 40 cards. And that number being around
Okay.
is just coincidence.
That's
the list doesn't always have
Pretty
to be.
hefty number.
Here is our initial Game Changers list for the Commander Brackets beta test. And as you're going down this card and looking, a lot of them will probably be cards you could guess would be on this list. These are cards that are very powerful and often game warping in Commander. The exact cards on the Game Changers list is something we'll be carefully looking for feedback on during the beta period. So please
Okay, so I actually want to go over the Game Changers list if I can, like right now, because I think this matters way more than like the bracket system. Bro, why is it like the 6th result? Okay. So, this is the Game Changers list. This is the Game Changers list, alright? I think this is huge. I think Commander has needed something like this for a very long time. I think Commander has needed a second list of cards that's not really a ban list, but more so like a limited list. I think something like this has been needed for so long because, like, as Commander as a format grows and deck efficiency and optimization gets pushed more and more, both by casual players and content creators who insist on people optimizing and building their decks in an efficient way, even though every player complains that Commander has gotten worse ever since optimization became a bigger deal. But that's a issue for another video. Like there has to be something to help combat like the growing threat, for lack of a better term, the growing threat of like players just building these like staple piles. And as we know, as you saw in the video, bracket 3 only allows you to play up to 3 cards from this list. So if you have no problem with like stapley pile decks, you can just go above bracket 3 and be in bracket 4. If you do, you can stay in bracket 3 and restrict yourself to only 3 cards from this list. I think that's amazing. I think Commander has needed a way to sort of, I guess, police the staple piles in an effective way that effectively separates the high-power staple engine decks from the more like synergy built lower power decks. I think that's something Commander has needed for a very long time. I think for the most part, this list is fine. I understand that, you know, Gavin's whole thing was that these cards aren't really banned for power reasons. It's more so that they kind of shift the dynamic of the games when they're ran. I'm not sure why green got like almost nothing. Meanwhile, blue got like almost 10 cards on this list when blue is like not even that good right now. I mean, Rhystic Study, Force Will, Fierce Guardianship, okay. Expropriate? Okay, Urza? Okay. What? Okay, so like, see, why is Mystical Tutor an issue, but Worldly Tutor is not? Why is Mystical Tutor a problem, but Gamble is not? Like, I think this list still has a bit of a inconsistent messaging. like, what makes Mystical Tutor worse than Worldly Tutor to the point where Worldly Tutor doesn't get on this list? Why? Like, that seems weird to me, especially considering the fact that I feel like most instant sorceries you can grab it with Mystical Tutor are probably, on average, worse than any creature you could want to grab with Worldly Tutor. It's very strange. I'm not sure I agree with that. White's list is mostly fine. Tie, Trouble in Pairs, Enlightened Tutor, Magistrate, those are all good. Sarah's Sanctum, again, also fair. I think Black's list is fine too, for the most part. I mean, it's just the most efficient tutors. Red getting only Jessica's Will and Breach. Again, I'd put Gamble on here, but I can't control the list. And Green has so much stuff. Green has so much stuff you could put right here. You could put Sylvan Library here. You could put, like, Worldly Tutor, like I said, like, Finite Devastation is probably maybe a contender too. Like, there's so much stuff that Green could have in that list that could be added, dude. Like, I'm not... First of all, I feel like there's like 3-4 cards in the blue list that don't need to be there. Like, Urza, no. There's no way. There's no way. Like, Urza to me, like Urza by himself, I don't even think is that powerful. Like, I understand he's more so there because, like, I guess as a commander, he tends to be strong, but like it's Force of Will does not belong, in my opinion. So I kind of understand why it's there, right? Because I mean, again, this list isn't really meant to be like it's a restricted list in the sense that if like these cards shift the dynamic of games, but at the same time, I feel like Force of Will, it's one free counter spell. If it was 2018, I'd agree. Because I'll tell you right now, when I just got into Commander, when I was like 14, 15, and got into Commander, bro, if somebody played a Force of Will against me, I was like, wow, bro. Wow, okay, yeah, nice sweat, dude. You gotta run Force of Will and you're a casual Commander deck to win. Yeah, what a sweat, bro. Nowadays, I'm like, okay, whatever. Nowadays, I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's like above average power. Because blue, like, and I think that's because I think blue, like, is really bad right now. At least in like the more generic spectrum of Commander. Obviously, blue is like really good in CDH because stack interaction is so important. But in the more like broader audience, I feel like blue is terrible right now. And I think like there's 3 other free counter spells besides just Force and Fierce Guardianship right now, which is Pact of Negation, Force of Negation, and what is it? Flare of Denial. Like so it's not a thing of it's the fact that it's a free counter spell, it's the fact that it's too easy, which is like, okay, I guess, but I feel like the complaint is more so towards free counter magic in general, not really the fact that it's slightly easier to cast. Like, dude, Expropriate should not be on here. Expropriate should not be on here. Expropriate is literally just a finisher in blue that also exiles itself upon resolving. Like, no. Like, this card is literally just a finisher in blue. And honestly, I'm pretty sure every time it's been cast against me, it didn't even win the game. It just got them, like, decently ahead, and then somebody casts a board wipe and they lost. Like, that does not need to be on there. I also don't think Urza. I understand why he's there, but at the same time, I feel like Urza isn't really that strong until he gets one of his like tapped sax pieces. Like, I know once Urza gets Winter Orb, that's it, right? That's game. Wait a minute, it's not wait, what? Winter Orb is not even on the game on the list. Oh wait, because it's Land and Isle, so it doesn't need to be. Yeah, right. Also, isn't like hang on, wait, hang on, wait a minute. So if you want to play Urza and do his whole like stacks thing, why is my oh, there it is. So if you want to play Urza and do your whole like Winter Orb, Stack Orb thing, you can't even do that without being into bracket 4 regardless. I had an Urza Voltron deck and it was stupid strong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. I've never seen an Urza Voltron list. If an Urza Voltron list is strong, maybe I'm tweaking. Maybe I'm tweaking, chat. Like, I don't know. I think, first of all, I should say, this list is an amazing start. Anti-sack tech with his ETB. True, okay, so you can't get edicted out. That's something. Welcome to the stream, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So, like, first of all, I should say, I think this list is an amazing start. As I said before, I think Commander has needed something like this for a very long time. I think Commander has needed a restricted list to combat staple piles for a very long time, and I think it's a great start. I just think it needs a bit of fine-tuning. I really don't think Expropriate should be on here. I do. Chat. All right, chat. Am I tweaking? Am I tweaking, or is Expropriate literally just like a blue Craterhoof? Like Expropriate is just the de facto blue finisher, right? Like, you can't loop it. It exiles itself upon resolving, so you can't like chain it or whatever. It's like Blatant Thievery and Time Warp just stapled together. I don't think that needs to be on the ban list or on the game changer list. Sorry. Yeah, like I don't think that needs to be on there. Jin-Gitaxias, I can see it. I think Jin-Gitaxias is more justified than Expropriate is because he does make everyone discard their hands. At that point, the game is kind of over, especially if you're in like some sort of like turbo graveyard reanimator deck where you try and get him out on like turn 3, something like that. I think he's more justifiable. Urza, I kind of thought he wasn't that big of a deal, but I have people in chat tell me now that even just Urza Voltron is stupid strong. So maybe I'm a ring ding ding. Sorry. Black I think is fine. White I think is fine. It's kind of crazy to see red only get 2 cards on this list. But at the same time, I think it's mostly fine. I feel like Gamble should be on here. Like I don't understand what makes Enlightened and Mystical a problem, but World Tutor and Gamble is fine. I don't understand what the deal with that is. Across the kitchen floor? For what card are you referring to, Neon? Like, I kind of don't understand why Enlightened and Mystical are on here, but not Worldly and Gamba. obviously, you know, demonic, imperial seal, vampiric. That's all well, fine, and good, understandable. No problem is. Red is the when I use etc. after giving my only 2 references. like chat. Gamble should be on here, right? I'm not crazy. Gamble, and Worldly should be on this list. I'm not freaking out. I'm not crazy. I think colors is fine. I think multicolor is fine. Is there anything I'd add to the colorless list? I don't think so. Mox Opal, maybe. I guess Gamble has more downside where you can't play it if you only have that 1 card in hand, or you can lose it when you have to discard at random. I guess, but even then, like, it's still a 1 mana tutor, right? And even if you discard it, that's still just a red Entomb then, which is still like perfectly fine for a single mana. Don't want to hear, but probably, but Soul Ring. No, I mean, I agree. Like, Soul Ring should be on there, but it's not because, you know, we can't put Ronald McDonald in jail because that would, you know, destroy the branding. It should be on there, but it never will be. Like, so, like, Soul Ring does kind of contribute to games being like not good. Vorinclex. Chat, I'm not gonna lie. When I play Vorinclex, like 99% of the time, it's for the mana doubling effect. I don't care about the mana untapping, not untapping thing. I don't care about that part of him at all. I always play him just for the mana acceleration. I'm probably crazy for that, but that's what I do. I'm sorry. Colorless, it's all fine. I'm still in shock green only has 3 cards. Yeah, I am too, especially since like everyone pretty much agrees now that green is like very busted right now in terms of like how just efficient it is a commander. So I don't know. I think again, I think this list is an amazing start, but I think red should probably have Gamble added and green should have Worldly added at least. It's just having doubling in more is so good for Vorinclex. I mean, yeah, true. Like I understand why he's there. Like he's kind of an odd one out compared to like Gaia's Cradle and Survival of the Fittest, but I do understand the reasoning behind it. So I don't know. I mean, regardless, the best part about this list is the fact that you're not allowed to run more than 3 of these cards, because if you do, your deck becomes bracket 4, which I think is amazing for helping combat it's so strange because I want to say community-wide push for optimization, but I don't think that's fair because I feel like everyone I've talked to agrees that ever since Commander became built around and the format got faster and the format got more optimized, the format has gotten worse compared to the old days where everyone just kind of built these 100-card pet card piles and everyone just kind of jammed games out. Like, it's... I think Bracket 3 helps combat the optimization epidemic, but at the same time, I think that epidemic is being caused by some loud voices that are a minority. So, but that's an issue for another video entirely. Welcome to stream, chat. Going over the commander brackets and whether or not they are a good change. Jalapeno poppers, yo, that sounds good as hell right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Please let us know your thoughts. So let's do just a quick recap here. Bracket 1 is called Exhibition. This is incredibly casual with a focus on decks built around a theme, like the Weatherlight Crew, as opposed to focus on winning. No game changers, 2-card combos, mass land denial, or extra turn cards are here, and tutors should be sparse.
So, God, yo, Gavin, give me time to pause it. So, funny story. My favorite deck right now is a Nekusar deck, but Nekusar is only played for flavor. Like, the deck runs 0 wheels, the deck runs 0 force card draw. Nekusar is literally only there for flavor, and I get wins by setting myself to 0 life with Lich's Mastery Lich's Mastery out, and then while I'm at 0 life, I either cast Repay in Kind, which sets everyone to the lowest life among players, or I cast Soul Conduit, which lets me exchange my life total with my opponents, and I'm at 0, so it kills them. Funny story, that deck actually, so you would think, you would hear that and think, oh, surely that's a bracket 1 deck, right? Nope. It's bracket 4. It's actually bracket 4, because I learned that deck has like 7 game changers. Dude, it has, okay, so it has, oh my god, can I actually pull it up real quick? Can I pull it up real quick? Can I pull it up? I actually want to see. It's not even just the tutors, bro. It's not even just the tutors. Oh my god. Where is it? Here it is. I know. I'm geeking, chat. I'm geeking. You all see that? Okay, yeah. So game changers. This is the list. You know what? I'll actually post it in chat in case anyone actually wants to see it themselves on their own, like, thing or whatever. So game changers, we got, let's see here. Bowl of Citadel, that's 1. Necropotence. I just realized Necropotence is not in the lists of black game changers. Literally how? Okay, whatever. What else is there? 1 ring, that's 2. Demonic Tutor, that's 3. Mystical Tutor, that's 4. Vampiric Tutor, that's 5. Pact Negation, it's still 5, because that doesn't count for some reason. What else is there? Is that it? There's 1 more, isn't there? I think Breach, that's 6. Yeah. So I have 6 game changers in this list. Can I get a? Oh no, y'all can't see it because chat's in the way. No. Here, let me move y'all over for a second. Let me move y'all over here so I can read it to y'all. So my cringe Lich deck is bracket 4. Let's see why. Unlimited game changers. Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Underworld Breach, Mystical Tutor, The One Ring, and Bowl of Citadel. So I have 6. Unlimited Mass Land Denial, World Fire. Yeah, dude. That sure is unlimited Mass Land Denial. Unlimited Tutors. Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Dark Petition, Varagoth, Profane Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Waterlogged Teachings. I have 7 in the deck. And I have unlimited extra turn cards. There's Last Chance. Technically, I'm not allowed to chain extra turns. So I can only cast it once without breaking the bracket rules. So if I cast it once, it's fine. And also, Last Chance is there for synergy with Lich's Mastery, because with Mastery out, it's... Oh god, where is it? Last Chance is just Time Walk, which is pretty cool. So, like... Like, you would think, you hear, oh, Lich deck, this is bracket 1 cringe. No, it's bracket 4 because I have some powerful cards in here. Like, I can't cut Breach. Like I actually can't. Breach has been necessary in getting myself wins with this deck every time. I can't cut that to put myself to bracket 1. I could maybe try and find a build that did that, but I doubt I'd be successful. I could cut well, even then, like it's a combo deck at its core, but it's also just a horrible, complete garbage, inefficient combo deck that takes like 14 mana to do its thing. Because Mastery is 6, Soul Conduit is 6, and 6 again. It's 18 mana to kill one person with this deck. It's horrible. It is a combo deck. I need the tutors, but it's a bad combo deck. It's awful. It's terrible. Anyways. There. Shameless plug for my Lich deck. Anyways. I saw people in chat talking. This is so stupid because there's 1,000,001 cards that are on these lists that are used as a theme and not as a power creep. It's always been the issue. All this does make worse. The summary of this attempt by WotC is encapsulated by the meme, ha, he tried it.
Mass land denial.
No, sorry. Casual decks nowadays will beat that deck with 1 counter spell. Yeah, that's why I try to have my own counter spells. That's why I'm in blue. Like, as I said, I think this is a great start, and I do think Commander has needed. I do think Commander has needed a restricted list for a very long time now to combat the optimization epidemic. So I do think this is a good push. But, like, I guess my Nekusar list would be a good actor because he's bracket 4, but isn't intentionally pushing the limits of bracket 4. So, like Gavin mentioned, how this system doesn't stop bad actors. People are always going to try and push the limits of each bracket to try and edge out a bit of power gain for their deck. I guess Nekusar by extension is like the opposite. He's a good actor, where I'm trying to be bracket 1, but because of the stipulations of like repeat tutors, I'm bracket 4. I don't know. I don't think my Lich deck should be used as an example of like, look guys, a bracket system doesn't work. No, I'm not saying that. Please don't think that I'm saying like, oh wow, my Lich deck is bracket 4, therefore the system is bad. No, I'm not saying that. What is the first thing you grab with a tutor in that Nekusar deck? It depends on the situation. Usually I'll end up grabbing like the One Ring because I need the power. I need the card draw. Like you need, like, dude, you need so many cards. Like, so what usually ends up happening is I can't do Lich's Mastery and Soul Conduit in one turn, so I have to I'll cast Lich's Mastery and then cast Last Chance to get an extra turn, and then on my extra turn I'll cast Underworld Breach and loop the Last Chance. That way I'm gonna have 18 mana at once for my combo. I gotta separate it across multiple turns. One Ring should be banished across the multiverse, bro. Look, listen. I need Breach to go for the combo, right? But Breach needs Graveyard Fuel to do the thing. So One Ring helps me get that Graveyard Fuel. One Ring is the Graveyard Fuel because I draw like 4 or 5 cards and discard the hand size. I need enough cards in my graveyard to fuel my Last Chance looping for my combo. Like, the deck's cool because the flavor, because Nekusar is a Lich, and I'm winning with Lich's Mastery. But the deck also, like, would completely fall apart if it wasn't built the way it is right now. Get out! Get out! Get out! Just say you need another listed card. Oh, I know. Trust me, I'm aware. Like I said, I don't think my Lich deck should be used as an example of like, look, guys, the bracket system doesn't work. I'm not saying that. Please don't think I am. He needs the one ranked rule him all his bod. Oh my god.
Or extra turn cards are here, and tutors should be sparse. Bracket number 2 is core. The power
Precon.
level of the average modern day pre-constructed deck sits here. No game changers, 2-card combos, or mass land denial, and you shouldn't expect to be chaining extra turns together. Tutors should be sparse.
Okay, so alright, so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
You shouldn't expect to be chaining extra.
So if tutors are supposed to be sparse, right? This keeps combo decks, no matter how bad they are, at a bracket 2. I think that's probably for the best, honestly. I think that's probably for the best because, like, you know, like lower power pods don't really want games to end abruptly with random combos, right? Like, people want games to they want to, like, you know, throw fists. They want to throw hands. They want to throw hands, chat. You know, cast your crater hoofs and your overruns and your big giant 8-mana unplayable demons that suck. You know, all your 9-mana blue spells that are also probably bad to some degree, unless it's expropriate. That's a game changer. I built my very first mono red deck and it just ended up being mostly good red stuff with the head as a commander on infants, of course. Yeah, like, I mean, I think that's fine though, right? Like, that's. Did you run game changers? Did you run your? Did you break out of bracket 3 by running more than the 2 game changers you're allowed to run? I do actually love people recognizing removal makes games better, and hopefully people warm to punching greedy decks and with specific land hate. I agree. And I actually, that's why I said it earlier, but I actually really don't like how Armageddon and Blood Moon are kind of grouped together in this bracket, in this system. Because I think those 2 cards are very fundamentally different. Like, I don't think Blood Moon and Armageddon are remotely comparable at all.
Extra turns together. Tutors should be sparse. Bracket number 3 is upgraded. Decks here are stronger than modern-day pre-constructed decks, but not fully optimized, and include a small number of game changers. Up to 3 game changers, no mass land denial, no early 2-card combos are here, and you should not be expecting to chain extra turns together.
Right, Gavin, please. Okay, so I think bracket 3 is probably what... I think bracket 3 is probably what most players should be aiming for. Like, instead of saying my deck's a 7, I hope that the... Excuse me, oh my goodness. I hope that the de facto number players aim for is, oh, my deck's a 3. Because bracket 3 gives you a limit on how many of the new cards from the game changers list you're actually allowed to play. Maybe, is it better if I, like... Yo, chat. Ew, why are you cropped off? What? There we go. All right, chat, is that better or worse? I that's better, right? Can I is it F12? Definitely, no, it's definitely not that. How I full screen it? I don't remember. Control F12? No. Help! F11. Okay. Chat, is that better? Can y'all actually see the video now? I know you get recommendations over here too, but... Is that better or worse, chat? For being able to actually see the video. Do y'all want it full screen or do y'all want it like that? My camera is not. Oh my goodness gracious. Ah! Ah! No. Okay, we're good. But I do think players probably should be aiming for bracket 3 most of the time, because again, helps combat the push for optimization by keeping you restricted in how many high power stables you can keep. Chat is also like literally unbeatable with this format though. No, that's bad actually. Yeah, I can't even read chat right now because of all the words. Nah, fuck that shit. Put it back. Put it back. Get out! Get out!
Together.
But yeah, like I think I'm hoping that people are gonna say my deck's a 3 and not a 4. I hate the fact they're basically saying you can have 2 card combos in a casual game. I think I agree. Like, God, but
Is core. The power level of the average modern day pre-constructed deck sits here. No game changers, 2-card, no early 2-card combo.
I mean, they say no early 2-card combos, right? Which I think is a difference. I think that is a fundamental difference, because, well, actually, actually no. I think you're right. Actually, I actually think 2-card combos should not be allowed in bracket 3. Actually, I think I agree. Actually, like combos are usually desired to be restricted to higher power games. I mean, if you're playing a combo in a casual pod, bro, your combo better be like complete jank. Like, I don't think my Nekusar, I don't really think qualifies, because I need Licious Mastery and Soul Conduit, but I also need to be at 0 life. So I gotta get a way to actually pay my life down to 0. So Nekusar doesn't even have a 2-card combo, it's a 3-card combo. So I think I agree, actually. I actually think I would move 2-card combos to bracket 4, actually. I think I would do that. People less aware are going to think that that's a lot of land, abuse it every LGS. They also didn't provide definition. They also did not provide a definition to late game combos. True. That's actually true. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually would move 2-card combos to bracket 4. This just seems like 1-9, but now it's now 1-5. The only thing they gave us was cards they might ban in the future. But the game changed, which I guess is nice. I mean, it's not just that, though, because, I mean, again, you are limited in what game change you can run at all if you're playing in brackets 1 through 3. With 3 being probably the sweet spot where you're only allowed to have up to 3 at all. So, I think, as I said, I'm hoping that most players will aim for bracket 3 in, like, LGSs, because it doesn't totally lock you out of all your expensive, like you know, if you buy a Rhystic Study, you want to play it. If you buy a Trouble in Pairs, you want to play it. But I think bracket 3 still lets those people play those cards, but also gives them a bit of a checks and balances, like, hey, you can play that, but you can only run 2 more of those high power stability cards, okay? Cool, bro? Alright, cool. So I think in that regard, that's why I like the fact that the game changers list exists at all. It's for that reason alone. It's for bracket 3. I 100% think bracket 3 is the probably the most interactive and fun bracket in terms of, like, making creative decks. I just joined, but I think everyone on the committee is a mild green, feeling how light green got off the game changers. I agree, 100%. I think everyone pretty much agrees that green got off way too light. Why is Worldly Tutor not on the list, bro? Why? What? I mean, fucking God, I'm sorry. What makes Mystical and Enlightened fine, but or what makes Mystical and Enlightened a problem, but not Worldly? How? Literally how? How? There's a Timmy amongst the board at the top, maybe. I don't know. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, like I think the issue is that green is viewed as a inherently casual color because it's like they just want to ramp lands and play big creatures. Haha, green's pathetic. Like no, like green gets so much value so fast, bro. Like Great Henge. Why is Great Henge not on here? I don't think I've ever played a game where Great Henge was not a game changer. I never been in a pot where Great Henge is not a game changer. Gains you life immediately, gives you back the mana you spent on it immediately, also pumps your whole board for the future, and also draws you cards for a simple 2, basically 0 mana. They might just feel there are a billion green tutors, so I said screw it. I think something like Finale should have been added. Yes, I mean maybe, yeah, you might be right, but like regardless, it's like feels unfair to other colors to say the 1 mana tutors in blue and white and black are bad, but the 1 mana tutor in green is fine. Like what is the basis there? I don't know. We still have more video to go through, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm tweaking, Chad. Maybe I'm tweaking.
Combos are here, and you should not be expecting to chain extra turns together. Bracket number 4 is optimized, and here you go wild with your highest power cards. There are no restrictions other than the ban list. Bracket number 5 is CEDH. This bracket is powerful with an eye toward a metagame and tournament structure. And once again, no restrictions other than the ban list.
I actually really like that they decided to make a separate bracket for CDH, even though there's actually no different restrictions. And it just emphasizes that you need to be going in with a different mindset. One sentiment I've heard a lot, and one I agree with, is that CDH is not a format, but a mindset. You can build almost anything in a CEDH like shell, like actually. Now maybe not every commander is up to par. You know, Yosei the Morningstar is not gonna be comparable to Light Paws even in a CEDH setting, but I do like that they emphasize that CEDH is a mindset more so than an actual format. So I am very glad that Gavin did that. And also gave the CDH folks some representation at all in this system, which I think is good.
What are the game changers? Well, the game changers are 40 cards that have a huge impact both in Commander and the kind of game you're playing. It's like a half step to be able to notch cards up but not ban them, and future unbans will likely go on this list to ease them in. It also informs players about cards that are at the upper end of Commander power, and any future bans would likely come off this list. Now, if you have questions, I have a little FAQ section I'll get to here in just a moment. But first, I want to share the upcoming roadmap so you know what's ahead. That way, you can better anticipate future updates. The first step is we want you to try out the Commander Bracket system and let us hear your thoughts. I'm sure we'll start hearing feedback basically immediately, and we're excited to see a bunch of people trying this in person at MagicCon Chicago. Depending on how that goes, we'll inform much of the future. Provided the system generally works and is heading in the right direction, we'll begin making revisions soon after MagicCon for any structural changes we want to include.
Alright, gang. You heard him. March down to MagicCon Chicago and push the limits of the bracket system. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But if you want to, get your voice heard about the system, make sure you attend MagicCon Chicago and try and voice your opinions about the system as a whole.
Then, with the information of how that all went in mind, we'll begin discussing any potential unbans. With the Game Changers list as a tool, we can potentially unban cards and add them to the list to keep them available at the higher brackets while keeping them out of the lower ones. The goal here, provided the system works, will be to come back with one big article in late April that both rolls out the full system and any unbans all together. And as we said back in October, no bans will be happening at that time, just potentially some unbans.
Yo, chat. Yo, chat. Y'all know I made that Commander unbanned tier list, right? Where I predicted what's gonna get unbanned for next time they unban things. I'm telling y'all, bro. Emrakul's coming off. Emrakul will finally be free from her shackles. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. She will finally be unleashed from her prison. She's coming off, bro. I'm telling you. She's coming off. She's coming off, I'm telling you. Watch them unban all the green cards. No. No, please. No. God, fuck no. 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 Man, I hope not. Why? Bro, she costs 15 mana. I think she's fine, honestly. I swear there will be a-holes who take 2 cards out of bracket 4 deck and walk into a bracket 1 game saying, Ooga booga, my deck is a 1, will make for a terrible experience. I mean, yeah, that probably will happen, but as Gavin said, like, this system, unfortunately, can't stop bad actors. And frankly, no system will stop bad actors like that, unfortunately. I also think that, to a degree, the system doesn't really perfectly balance out power. Like, Light Paws is probably bracket 2 to begin with, right? And without you don't need Game Changers in Light Paws. Unless Light Paws counts the tutor. Does Light Paws count as unlimited tutors? Maybe? Kind of? Ish? Like, Light Paws would destroy a bracket 2 pod, bro. Oh my god. Absolutely annihilate. Like, yeah, like, this system won't stop bad actors, but, I mean, first of all, we can all agree that this system is way better than like, the number system, right? 1 through 10. Easily. This is easily way better, right? We can all agree on that, chat? Just ban the whole format, okay. I hate the numbers. Yeah, like one. My decks are 7. Like, that is infinitely worse than I'm a bracket 3 that has actual like restrictions and rule sets for what bracket 3 actually entails, as opposed to 7 that's like, oh well, it's above average. It's above average.
So if you're eager to hear about unbans, late April is the time to circle on your calendar. And if anything changes in the timeline, we'll let you all know.
Emrakul! Emrakul!
System directionally working, of course.
Free her!
Through that, we'll work on getting a regular cadence for updates when you know you can hear from us. And hopefully that clues you in a bit on what to expect coming up soon.
Oh my god, Luke.
Alright, so let's get into that Q&A. As you can imagine, in the design process, there's a ton we talked about. So something we wanted to do was answer some questions up front that we thought might be common.
Okay, so this was where I actually clicked off the video on my own time. So I actually haven't watched anything past this point in my own time. So I might see some things here that are like kind of surprising to hear.
On topics for anybody out there who wants to dig in. So we hope it helps. So here's a potential question at the top. I don't like this. Do I have to use it?
No.
And the answer is no, not at all. As we mentioned at the very beginning, if your group is having success playing games you love without this, that is awesome. Go forth and keep having fun.
On Skibbity. On Skibbity.
Tool you can use. The only thing I'd ask is that if you are looking for a way to matchmake your games, try it out and give it a fair shake.
Did the numbers even have a description on them or something? The people I played with kind of just said it was a feeling of it more than logic. So there is a chart out there you can pull up that people use sometimes, but I feel like only like 10% of players even knew that this said chart existed. Let me pull it up. Number. What do I type in here? commander deck power levels. Can I find it? Yeah, here it is. Yeah. You still can I get a better version? That's like small. That's yeah. I'm not sure why that one's so grainy. Here's a new tab. Okay. We're on Reddit now, chat. I'm sorry. I did my best. Hello. What? Okay. So there was this that people used to actually explain what each level meant. As you can see, I ain't reading all that. So like, some people were like, "Oh yeah, my deck's a 7. My deck is largely refined down to just the best cards in my strategy. Perfect, nearly perfect land bases, multiple sheep tutors, right?" Again, the issue is that only like 10% of people even knew this chart existed, and everyone's definition of what a 7 is different. Like, if I think 7, right? Like, first of all, I feel like most people would say a precon is a 5. Here's the issue. I already, like, duped myself. Because me thinking most people would believe that 5 is a basic precon is already assuming that every other person I play with has the same, like, deck analysis that I do, which is already, like, bad for the sake of clarifying power level. So, if we think that 5 is a generic precon, we say, oh, 7's an upgraded precon. Yeah, that makes some logical sense, except here's a problem. This list has precon as a 3. See the issue here? It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. God. No. Oh my goodness gracious. How many decks in existence are 10s? Probably like what? Probably like all of the like top tier CDH decks. To be fair, a lot of precons are bad. I mean, maybe like when the format first got made and the very first creator precons, yes, 100% complete trash. Bro, Kalia of the Vast was like terrible out of the box. But nowadays they're all like pretty good. Like they have good ratios of like cards and whatnot, like ramp, card draw, removal, whatever. So it's like, are those 5s? Are those 6? I don't know.
Would love to hear what you think. Here's another probably popular question. Why is some card on the Game Changers list? So let me break down the reasons and categories for all the cards on the Game Changers list. First, we've got Enlightened Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal, and Survival of the Fittest. These are all best-in-class tutors and tend to find combo pieces or just homogenize the game to play out similarly.
So again, how does Worldly not fit into that list? Okay.
While tutors are already mentioned in the bracket structure, these 6 incredibly powerful ones are ones we wanted to call out specifically. Drannith Magistrate, Opposition Agent, Trinisphere, Glacial Chasm, and the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale efficiently lock out your opponent's ability to use their cards, often in frustrating ways. Chrome Mox,
Okay, fair.
Monolith, Mox Diamond, Mana Vault, and Ancient Tomb are incredibly powerful fast mana pieces that accelerate the game and basically any deck can play. Smothering Tithe, Trouble in Pairs, Rhystic Study, The One Ring, Jessica's Will, and Bolas' Citadel provide overwhelming resource advantage and tend to cause a player to snowball with the game. Vorin
Jessica's Will snowballs? Isn't the whole point that it's just supposed to be a burst of speed? I mean, I guess I kind of get it because it's card draw and mana. Okay, yeah.
Voice of Hunger is an extension of the mana denial restriction. It doesn't fully fit our description given and is a little nicer than the other mana
Green is so
cards,
fair, don't you get it?
Still wanted to keep this card clear from the lower brackets. Lion's Eye Diamond, Underworld Breach, and Ad Nauseam are combo and storm cards, which are usually up to no good and can create power and goal mismatches at a more casual table. Gaia's Cradle and Sarah's Sanctum.
What? What? No. Nah, bro. What you talking about? My Lich Necrosar doesn't like chain together a last chance from my graveyard with Breach? What? What? No. No, I'd never do that.
Provide a huge mana boost and rapidly accelerate the game.
I'm not a bad
is
actor,
best-in-class
chat.
way to win the game on the spot and is mostly used as a 2-card combo.
Yeah.
Cyclonic Rift is a best-in-class way to reset everybody else in Commander, and often in not a very fun way. Expropriate, while expensive, the combination of taking a turn alongside stealing 3 permanents, provided none of them give you even more turns, is strong enough to often end games on the spot.
Disagree. Hard disagree. Bro, I've had Expropriate cast against me many times when I first got into the format, and I don't think it ever won a game ever. Like 99% of the time when somebody cast Expropriate against me, they stole our 3 best things, took an extra turn, and then somebody cast a board wipe, and then the effects of the Expropriate does nothing. Great. Expropriate should not be on here. Like, actually, it should not. It's 9 mana. It's just like a generic finisher that also like doesn't even do its job very well, in my opinion. I don't think it should be on here.
Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur is a prime card to cheat out or reanimate, and this Jin removes their resources while ensuring you have endless in a quite unfun way.
True.
Now, Fierce Guardianship and Force of Will are free counterspells, and these were much debated. They're powerful and often protect your engine. Guardianship doesn't put you down a card to cast it, and Force of Will can counter anything, including commanders, and works on your turn, which often is used to protect your combos. That's an important distinction because Force of Negation was left alone, since it only counters non-creatures and only works on opponents' turns.
So, someone earlier said that Force of Will could come off. I think I agree, actually. Like, Fierce Guardianship is infinitely more annoying than Force of Will, because the only requirement is that, because the only requirement is that, like, you just have to have what is probably the best card in your deck on the field. Puts you down 2 cards against 3 opponents. Yeah, like I said it earlier, but like if somebody cast Force Will against me back in like 2018, I was kind of salty. I was like, wow, bro, what a sweat. You gotta run Force of Will and Casual Commander to win. Wow, bro, yeah, nice sweat, bro. Nowadays, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care because blue right now is like so awful in Casual compared to like green now. So I don't know if y'all, people who've been playing since like 2018, 2016, somewhere around that range, some of you might remember there being these like mono blue 20 plus counterspell control decks where they play these like really good blue draw engines and they eventually at some point in the game they reach a critical mass of card draw to the point that eventually it gets to a point that where they can counter 1 spell on each player's turn, and usually that's enough for the mono blue player to end up going for the win at some point from that point forward. Those decks have been like completely phased out now because every other color got faster. Like the mono blue decks only had to counter like 1 6-drop from each deck because of course back then decks were way slower. And on average, each deck was playing like maybe 1 6-drop a turn, and that was it. Mono blue eventually could reach a point where they could counterspell every actual threat and be fine. That's like not a thing anymore at all. That's like not a thing anymore at all. Those mono blue counterspell decks have pretty much been phased out entirely, minus explicitly Baral decks, and that's it. Like, Force of Will back then was annoying because blue as a color wasn't like such trash now. Force of Will nowadays, I'm like, okay, whatever. Your color is like really bad in the more generic, broad, casual commander spectrum. So like, yeah, it's fine. Blue and red are in dire straits. White and green are the best. I still think red is the worst. I feel like red gives you a lot of explosive power, to be honest. And also they have a lot of like treasure shenanigans now, which matters. Like I think red has a bad late game, but like it's red. That makes sense for them. I don't think red should have a busted late game. Generically speaking, obviously there's gonna be exceptions, like with I don't know, Neheb, I guess, because Neheb can generate you like 20 mana at some point with like a flame pillar or whatever.
And finally, Kinnan, Yuriko, Winota, Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, Turgrid, and Urza. First, I'll say we wanted to be very careful with the legendary creatures we hit, as it essentially.
I think any color is probably good if you have the money for it. With you start with nothing. I think any color, any problem can be fixed if you just throw enough money at it. Actual life lesson on Skibidi. Bro, it's just a feeling of the emotional damage that makes blue feel bad for new players, but it's almost the same shit as moving it off the field, if not worse. Yeah, like newer players are like, if you counter my spell, that's not okay. But if I cast it and then you immediately cast murder on it, that's fine. That's okay. Like there is that dynamic too, I suppose.
Essentially knocks them out of brackets 1 and 2. Additionally, your commander is the
Turgid
one thing
Lantern.
you know before playing the game, so it gives you an easy way to say, hey, I don't want to play against that commander. However, after a lot of discussion, we felt like these 6 were almost never used fairly when played as commanders. I've never seen the fun, enjoyable for everybody Grand Arbiter deck out there in the wild, for example. There might
True.
be one person out there who has it, and to that person, feel free to try and convince the table. As mentioned earlier, Rule 0 still very much applies. But generally, these are commanders that have a certain pedigree of appearance and that most players don't want to play against at, say, bracket 2. This is
So, alright. I think we can agree, chat. This is good. The commanders on this list are, for the most part, good. I'm a little questionable about Urza. I'm a little questionable about Urza because I think Urza gets really strong mostly due to the presence of like Winter Orb and Stag Orb and whatnot, but at the same time I can't deny he does make a lot of mana. I'm probably wrong for thinking he could come off. Yuriko NPC tier? True. Actually, yes.
This does apply to the rest of your deck as well, and while a lot of these cards can be better in your 99, we didn't want an additional list distinguishing cards that are only game changers when used as commanders. But if you have any feedback on that, please let us know. Okay, here's question 3. Why isn't Sol Ring on the game changers list?
Yeah.
And the answer is that
Why?
It qualifies as fast mana, and otherwise would be here next to cards like Mana Vault. But the truth of the matter is, it's Sol Ring. It's the most iconic card in all of Commander. It's something that since near the beginning has been the poster child for the format. Playing one Sol Ring is a universal truth handed down from Sheldon Menery. So every deck gets exactly one Sol Ring to let it power up.
I can't, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god, he didn't ban Sol Ring, guys. Oh my god. Oh, I can't, dude. It makes me so angry. Yeah! Yeah, chat. I can't handle this, bro. This makes me so angry. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. Gavin Verhey, you failed me. Oh my god. Just makes me so mad, dude. Oh, I can't believe it.
Up and accelerate a bit extra on occasion. And that remains true. Now, one thing about fast mana is it tends to compound. Once you have a little bit, it becomes strong to play a lot of it. So
How do you counter Yuriko? Make sure they never ever have a creature. Like actually. Like everything that's a ninja, fucking kill it. Like that ass. That's your only hope of winning. Is hope to get unlucky with draws and make sure they never keep one of their little dinky like one drop cheap ninjas.
So just Soul Ring being around at lower brackets is a lot different from Soul Ring and Mana Vault and Ancient Tomb and so on. Okay, for another question, you think a certain card should be on the list. Why isn't it? So
Yeah! Yeah! Whirly Tutor, where is it?
we talked about a ton of cards, and as mentioned before, the list is not final. It's in beta for a reason. So please send us your feedback, and we will happily take it into account when working on the final version. Here's another question.
Is there a link? Can I actually like submit emails or like tickets? Say like, hey, I think this should be on here, and this is why.
What does it mean if my commander is on the Game Changer list?
Okay, no, actually, is there like a thing I can click on that will actually send me to like a feedback page? No, there's not. Okay, that might be actually a nice resource for us to be able to like talk to them. No, buy a ticket, go to Chicago. I guess I have
Well,
to.
as described above in the card-by-card explanations,
God.
these are commanders that tend to be exclusively frustrating and power outliers at lower brackets. It does mean you can't play them at bracket 1 and 2, but if you believe you have an exhibition or core deck using one of these cards, for example, let's say your deck commanded by Urza falls in the exhibition bracket because it's about retelling the story of the Brothers' War, Rule 0 is still very much in effect, and you're welcome to talk with your table.
Okay.
At upgraded bracket 3, this just means it counts toward one of your 3 game changers. And at the optimized and CEDH brackets, go wild, play these cards. Now here's a question about how the system is structured. Why are there 5 brackets? Doesn't it kind of boil down to 3 brackets? And it's true. There are essentially 3 categories. No game changers, some game changers,
I mean, that's fine, bro. And everyone's starting late. So, okay, so it actually reminds me, I've heard that apparently something that's happening is people who got into Magic through Universe Beyond are actually feeling like they have to be like apologetic towards players for getting into the game that way. We need to stop that. Like, actually, like, you should, like, no one who gets into the game through a crossover set should ever have to feel like, oh yeah, dude, I got into the game through the Doctor Who decks. I'm really sorry. Like, no, like that's not okay. Don't, like, we as a community, the game generally, not bounce manners. I know bounce manners would never do that, right? Yeah. Of course, I know bounce manners would never ever make Universe Beyond people feel like. I thought people didn't like the cards, not the players. So like, it's just so it's not that players are hating directly on people who got into the game through Universe Beyond. It's more so that people who got into the game through Universe Beyond see like such vitriol for UB as a product that they feel like they're like not real Magic players, or that like they feel like they have to be apologetic towards like getting into the game that way, which is like that's not okay. We actually should stop that. As we actually should find a way to stop them from feeling that way. No one should ever have to feel like they should be apologetic because of how they get into the game. Like, no, that's not okay. We gotta stop that for real.
and all game changers. We looked at 3 brackets for a while, but a couple things became apparent. First, there's an audience that would really like to play a commander game below the level of pre-constructed decks. And I personally think it's great that level exists. I've never built a purely goofy deck in my life, but now that I know I have terminology to find those exhibition matches in bracket 1, I feel a lot more like building one knowing there's a place to play them. On the other end of the spectrum, in talking with our CDH experts like Deco, Lewis Stardust, and Rebel, they really felt like there's a difference between high power and CEDH.
Because there is.
Quantifying.
Actually,
a great point that was brought up was that CEDH already has done exactly what we're trying to do here, with a label that indicates the kind of game you're looking for. They certainly have earned that official labeling,
they have?
in part by virtue of it proving to have worked already. We do expect most commander decks right now to fall into the core, upgraded, and optimized brackets. And that's totally okay. But having the room for exhibition and CEDH...
Was that an anime girl? What? Was it? Where?
have earned that official labeling in part by virtue of it proving to have worked already. We do expect most Commander decks to do exactly what we're trying to do here, with a label that indicates the kind of game you're looking for. They certainly have earned that official label. EDH with our CDH experts. One, I feel a
Am
lot
I crazy?
more building one knowing there's a place to play them. On the other end of the spectrum, in talking with our CDH experts like Deco, Lewis Stardust, and Rebel,
That's not anime girl. No, it's a real person. What? No.
it really felt like there's a difference between high power and CEDH.
Dyed hair must be anime girl.
Brought up was that CEDH already
Okay.
has done exactly what we're trying to do here with a label.
It's
that
chill.
indicates the
It's chill.
kind of game you're looking for. They certainly have earned that official labeling in part by virtue of it proving to have worked already. We do expect most Commander decks right now to fall into the core, upgraded, and optimized brackets.
Time me to get out. Good content, love vids. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I actually enjoy making content a lot more live because it's actually way more enjoyable for me to be able to, like, I enjoy making content a lot more when y'all are here to talk with me and just hang out with me. So I appreciate it a lot more. I guess while I have an audience here, I'll go ahead and say right now, this is off topic, but I'll say it just in case anyone cares. Monster Hunter Wilds releases on the 28th of February, and I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna be doing a marathon stream of me trying to beat that game all in one day because I'm really hyped for it. But it'll be on the live channel. So if you care about that, go subscribe there. If you don't care, that's also fine. I understand this is a Magic channel. You probably don't want to see non-Magic content. So if you don't, it's cool.
And that's totally okay. But having the room for exhibition and CEDH is something we felt was important, and if this is successful, those categories, especially exhibition, may grow over time.
I also think it's good for them to include CDH in the sense as well, because again, it clarifies, it helps. Like, a lot of players have this misunderstanding that CDH is some kind of like speed combo fest. That's not really what it is at all. Like, CDH is more so a mindset of how you build your deck rather than like an actual format. And in the same way, I think exhibition kind of is that as well. Like, if you're building like super Omega Jank and you're trying to retell a story of Urza and friends with all these like jank unplayable cards, I think that also kind of is like CDH, just like on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, where instead of trying to play really good cards and make sure your commander works, you're playing really bad cards and making sure your deck tells a story.
Here's a simple one. My best deck has no game changers and is technically a bracket 2 deck. Should I play it in bracket 2? The answer is just, you should play it where you think you belong based on the descriptions. So, for example, if your deck has no holds barred power despite playing 0 game changers, then you should play in bracket 4. Here's another question you might have. Why 3 cards from the game changers list for bracket number 3?
Best number.
We talked a lot about decks we had, what we expected, and what felt about right, so that your deck could have some of these cards show up, but not be full of them. We talked about 3, 4, and 5 cards. And while 5 doesn't sound like a lot, when the list is only around 40 cards,
It is.
that's still a lot. Ultimately, we wanted to start lower and see how it feels, but we're very much open to your feedback on this.
I think
Naturally expect people to talk about how many game changers are in their decks. So if someone says, hey, I have this number of game changers in my deck, isn't that okay? You can decide if that's something you're happy with.
I actually do think 3 is the perfect number. When I first saw the limit, I kind of thought 4 would be a better number, because then on average you see 1 game changer every 25 cards. I feel like some people might not even draw that many cards some games, but at the same time, I think 2 would be too few. I think 4 might lead to game changers appearing just a tad too much. So I excuse me. Oh my god. I do think 3 is most likely the perfect number for bracket 3 to use.
Another question. How worried should I be about labeling my deck correctly and finding the exact bracket to play with?
Extremely. If you mislabel your deck in the LGS, crucifixion, bro. Crucifixion. Crucifixion, bro. On Skibbity. On Garfield. No, I'm kidding. Don't be a bad actor. Don't be a bad actor and use Underworld Breach to loop Last Chance in your Nekusar Lich deck. That's totally a bracket 1, guys. No cap on Garfield. Don't do that. But just be honest.
Well, there's some wiggle room for sure. Well,
I did a drive-by robbery in my LGS and copy 2 boxes. What? Bro, don't admit to crimes in the stream chat. What?
all inside your bracket is
Say it /J so I don't get banned, please.
You can
Like,
use the
actually.
wiggle within one bracket away from yours safely. Bracket 2s playing against bracket 3s can work fine, but what this system is really trying to avoid is bracket 2s playing against bracket 4s. That's a huge difference and pain point for Commander games. So how can you use this system practically? Well, one thing I'm really excited about is being able to put decks from brackets 1 to 4 into my bag and having all 4 ready to play. That way, I can play with different people depending on the kind of game people want to play.
I did read the joke. In the spirit of Aether Drift release, I did a drive-by robbery. Yeah, you still admit to a crime technically if it's a joke.
But above all, the Commander bracket system.
I know you're joking, but I'm just saying, like, YouTube is weird. So I want to get, like, suspended for something someone in chat said.
When finding good games. Here's one for extra turn fans. Why is chaining extra turn spells called out specifically? And the reason is a single extra turn spell can be fun and splashy. However, extra turn spells take a lot of time away from other players and their ability to play the game, and they tend to be unfun when repeated.
Okay. Question. Time stretch. Does this thing count as chaining extra turns? Because it literally just is, like, one card. I'm not looping it. If I just cast Time Stretch, then that's it. I don't loop it or anything. Does that count as me looping extra turns? Oh my god.
With multiples, they basically begin to function like a combo deck, where your combo is taking 4 turns in a row and getting so far ahead that nobody can catch up. A single extra turn spell, sure, but your Edric deck about chaining all of them together over and over, keep that for the higher brackets, please. Okay, so you've read all of this, but what if your deck accidentally has a combo or finds a way to chain extra turn spells? Well, I really want to say there's something to be said for intent here, which is why we call out no intentional combos and the intent to chain together extra turn spells.
Okay.
I've built decks before with unintentional combos in them, and if you steal a way to copy spells and cast an extra turn spell, you can go for it. There's a big difference between deck building intent and what happens in the game. For example, it's possible a game could end up with mass land denial if one player makes all lands into creatures and then another sweeps the board. That happens. There are a lot of cards in Magic, but if someone builds their deck to do that intentionally, that's the no-no. So if you accidentally find an easy 2-card combo in your deck, hopefully it's a good laugh for everybody and you now know to take it out for next time. Here's one for folks that have followed along for a little while. Is this the same thing as the power bracket system that we announced last year? And the answer is, this system can certainly trace its lineage back to that system.
Okay.
But as you see, it's quite a bit
I was about to say.
When we showed that off last September, we were giving you a behind-the-scenes look at something we were working on in progress. And one of the things about showcasing something before it's done is that it's likely to change.
Yeah, I am very glad that, like, this definitely feels like a vast improvement over the original draft of this. Like, oh my gosh. I guess Armageddon and Vampiric Tour still kind of are in the same bracket, which I think is kind of silly, but I'll cover that in my closing thoughts
being able to bracket
of the stream.
was useful. As the format panel dug into it, there were all kinds of challenges with that proposed system. For one, that system meant a ton of different lists you have to check against, which made it onerous. It also simultaneously meant you couldn't add a single high bracket card into your deck without being at the highest level. After doing a lot of iteration, we landed on this system, which only has a single list of cards, and bracket 3 lets you play a little bit of the higher bracket stuff without going fully into it, which is how many people build their decks. Finally, we wanted to move away from the word power, which is why these are called commander brackets. Swords to Plowshares and Counterspell are incredibly powerful cards, but they're also totally fine for games of Commander. We really wanted to focus less on power level and more on the game experience you want, and the cards that can radically change that game experience.
So I think that that's actually the best way to do it, because let's be honest, most of the cards let's be honest, most of the cards he mentions that radically change the game experience just are powerful cards. Like Rhystic Study radically changes the dynamic at a table and also just is a very powerful card. So I think the way they're doing, I think the approach they took was the best one they could have. Because if we had like a list of like cards for power reasons, it'd be like 100 cards, and that's not really. A, it's unintuitive, and B, it's just annoying.
Focus less on power level and more on the game experience you want, and the cards that can radically change that game experience. Okay, so we didn't really talk about mana bases at all. Is there guidance for that? While mana is of course critical for playing Magic, it's rare that a mana base is what causes games to be unfun or warping for other players, which is what the focus is on here with this system.
Gavin, have you never heard of Field of the Dead? Have you ever played against Lord Windgrace?
The further up the scale you go, the more I would generally expect stronger mana bases to show up because it matters more. CEDH decks will want the most efficient mana bases they can have, whereas mana bases for Exhibition probably matters less because the games are slower and highly thematic, but there are no hard and fast rules around them here. Here's one about future precon design. Some game changers have showed up in recent pre-constructed decks, like Jeska's Will. However, the pre-constructed level of Core, bracket 2, allows for 0 game changers. How will this influence future pre-constructed deck designs? Now, it's true that bracket 2 is the average modern day pre-constructed level, but the emphasis there is on average. Modern Horizons 3 Commander decks and Secret Lair decks aren't in that mix, for example, and are places these cards could go. Now, depending on how the adoption of this system goes, this could go several ways. Just like how some people will rule 0 to include a game changer, I could imagine an incredibly appropriate game changer in a pre-constructed deck potentially being acceptable. I could even imagine a future, if this is popular enough, where brackets are included on product packaging, and we could occasionally release pre-constructed decks at different levels depending on the set. Imagine a highly thematic and flavorful set of 4 bracket 1 decks, or a set of juiced up bracket 3 decks. That's all just speculation at this point, and it's far too early to be working on that kind of thing. But
bro, when he said that, I thought he was about to imply they could make like CDH precons. I was about to be so hype. I was about to be so hyped. You're like, nah, there's no way. There's no way it's implying we can get CDH precons. There's no way.
But in any case, when it comes to reprints, there will be plenty of places to put these cards. This system does not preclude us from making sure there are ways to get these cards out there in the future.
They'd cost like $300. So, like, you can make CEDH decks on a budget. They do exist. It's just that there's kind of no reason to do that because CEDH is a very proxy-friendly format. So it'd be very interesting to see how those would come out. But I can't deny, bro. I'm about to be like, oh, Gavin, don't do this to me. Don't give me hype.
Including potentially in pre-constructed decks. Here's a straightforward question you may have. Will we begin intentionally designing cards to go straight to the Game Changers list? And the answer is a strong no. At Wizards, don't see this as a tool to create even more powerful cards for Commander or anything of the sort. It's something to help matchmaking, not one to give us an excuse to push the envelope. Now here's a question with an answer I'm pretty excited about. Is there a way for the online tools I use to easily tell me what bracket my deck is?
Yes.
The answer to that is yes. This is something that we wanted to roll out and get adopted into the mini community tools people use. It's really important to me and the whole panel that a community format involves these great community resources. So we've gone ahead and talked with the popular deck building websites Archidekt and Moxfield, as well as the Magic search engine Scryfall, giving them a heads up on this whole system. and you should expect to see them implementing it very quickly. Some of them will even flip the switch by the time this video is live. What about if you're a fan of Magic Online? Can this help you out there? Well, Daybreak Games and the Magic Online team are aware, we've talked to them about it as well, and are working on a potential implementation of this, so stay tuned to them for future announcements. And finally, if you didn't see the question you were looking for answered here, please feel free to put it in the comments down below, drop it in the Commander channel in the official Magic Discord, ask on social media. Happy to try and take as many of these as we can. So thank you all for taking the time to check this out and for your patience as we put it all together. And I personally want to thank the rest of the CFP for all of their work. They took the initial idea we had at Wizards that we mentioned last October and really evolved it into something that is much more workable, much more understandable, and covers a wider array of Commander players. There was a lot of great debate and discussion, and while not every person necessarily aligns on every single element, I can see pieces from each and every person on the panel nestled somewhere in the DNA of Commander brackets. It's been really incredible to watch the team bring it together. So we've had a lot of great discussions talking about it, and now I'm excited for you to try it out. A fun exercise to run for yourself as you're packing for your next in-person Commander session is to try and bring decks of a few different brackets. I'm sure no shortage of pieces will be written, filmed, told in person, posted in our Discord, or even put in the comments down below, and I look forward to reading all of them. Many of us on the panel will see you in Chicago, and until then, on behalf of the entire Commander format panel, this is Gavin. I'll talk with you again soon, and until then, have fun playing Commander.
Okay, so I think for the most part, brackets are a good thing. I think they're a good change. As I mentioned like 3 times before now, but I'll say it again in the stream. I think honestly, I don't even care about like I don't really care about this. I honestly could care less about this. I care about the fact that we actually have a soft ban list now. This is what I actually care about. Oh. Like the brackets are all fine and dandy. I think they're good. It's great that people have a really good tool to help actually associate their deck with an actual power constraint in a much more efficient and innovative way. That's not like an arbitrary number scale, but I care a lot more about the fact that we actually have a way to cut back on the growing epidemic that is staple piles becoming a more and more prevalent thing at LGSs. I say that as I realize that my favorite deck kind of is staple pile with Nekusar Lich deck. But it's okay because it's aimed to be bracket 1, guys. It's okay. I don't count. It's if I say it, it's bad. If I do it, it's good. Yeah, that's how it works. Again, I think this system is great. I'm glad I made this. I think it's a good change. A couple criticisms. I think that there has to be some sort of tool that we, the players, can use to reach out to the people who designed this and give some honest criticism about the list. Like, a lot of people were blown away with the fact that green got almost nothing added on this list. Like, green got almost scot-free with like 3 cards that, to be honest, I'm pretty sure most decks don't run Cradle or Trial of the Fittest. Vorinclex is the only like somewhat common card on here. So I would do that. I would have them. I would hope they set up some sort of tool for us to reach out to them and give like anonymous, like, hey, I would add this and this is my reasoning. I think that there should be some sort of way to differentiate non-basic land hate with mass land removal. Like, I don't think it's fair to put Armageddon and Blood Moon or even Ruination in the same tier because those 2 cards serve very different purposes. Like, I don't think non-basic hate should be considered the same as like Armageddon. I don't think that's fair because I don't think punishing greedy mana bases is that big of a problem, especially considering the fact like you can like you don't have to like playing 5 colors doesn't necessarily mean you have to run non-basic land bases. Like, dude, I have a 5-color Progenitus deck that runs like 20 basics, and the fixing is basic oriented. You can do that. Like, I think non-basic hate should be more so taught as like a, hey, you gotta be responsible. It should be taught as like a, it should be viewed as a way to keep, I was gonna say it, green. It should be used as a way to keep green, the color that is going stronger and stronger by the year, in check. That's what it should be. It should be used to keep green in check. And all of these like non-basic greedy decks. That's what non-basic hate should be viewed as. I don't think it's fair to view Blood Moon and Armageddon as the same sort of card, because they serve very different purposes. There is that. Again, I feel like Green could totally have some more cards on their repertoire of game changers. I feel like Great Henge and Worldly Tutor, at the very least, could be added to that list. So I would do that. Again, hope they have some way for us to actually reach out to them and give feedback and constructive criticism. I know, like, saying that they should have a tool for us to be able to give feedback, I know it's like a double-edged sword, because of course there's gonna be bad actors who just send like a hateful spam messages saying like, oh, it's bad, oh, terrible job, bring back Rule Smitty, like all this like annoying shit. Like there will be people like that, and it sucks that they have to deal with that. But I mean, I would hope that they're willing to deal with that if it means trying to perfect this system as best as they possibly can. This stream made me like brackets a lot more. I'm glad. Like I said, I think my final thoughts, I think it is for the most part a great system with some minor flaws holding it back from being perfect. I would say that's probably my overall opinion of brackets right now, is that it's a great system that's being held back by a couple flaws. It is a astronomical improvement over what we saw back in like November or whatever month it was. Yeah. So hit green some more. Give us a tool to be able to reach out to you all with, and I would hope they find a way to differentiate Armageddon effects with Blood Moon effects. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm actually very surprised we had as many people as we did tune in at 10 a.m. on a Monday. So I was very surprised. Thank you all so much for tuning in during a time like this, on a day like this. I appreciate it a lot. It'd be cool if they release a list or something that can provide a process for playgroups to discuss what card can be on lists of their games. Maybe. I'm not sure. Like, I think having one list is perfect for now. I wouldn't go above. I wouldn't go beyond that, because I think it would just lead to more confusion. I hear you, and I think there's good intention behind it, but I'm afraid that might actually just lead to the bracket system being more confusing than usual. Than it already, to a degree, somewhat is for some people. But yeah, I love y'all. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.